something's different about my hair. Well, what happens is my hair is this way because as I was allowing myself to live it, read it, walk it, talk it, and dream it, spirituality, to be my higher self. And I notice I have this little fly friend that just won't go away, keeps making sure, so I'm not sure what that one's about, but that's okay. I can be annoyed by it or understand that there's a metaphysical meaning. So Spirit says to me, oh, your hair. Nope, we're not chopping it off. And it's like, oh, usually that's a sign that there's a shift, something that has to happen. 2 major things that happened in my life. I ended up, actually 3. 3 major things that I knew that I had to change. And I didn't have the strength. I didn't have the capabilities to doing so. And what do I mean by that? Well, I was unhappy and I was married, and he kept telling me that how other women are pretty, and it was okay. That's nice. I think other women are pretty too, but there was this comparison, and he'd always say something like, oh, don't ever get short hair. And I'm like, but that's your preference, not mine. And I don't know what I really look like with short hair. And then I realized there was a pattern when I was in junior high or high school or whatever it was. This boy told me, he says, oh, you look so much better if you actually did your hair. And this is when it had started to hit into the 70s and the 80s, where it's all about the cut. Now I'm reverting back to what I had back in junior high, minus the color. Hello, everybody. That's wonderful to see you. And one of the things that happened is I did not realize I was easily influenced. I began to notice that as I got older. And that's very important for you to understand is that you can be easily influenced. Now, some people say, no, I'm not. But if we put value in our enemies or people that play envy, do all this energy, then what can happen can throw you in a tizzy, and you may not even be aware of the fact that you're responding to it. Now, I grew up in a household where, how do you want to put it? 5 kids. My mother was forced to go out and have to work and help feed us, put electricity, all the essentials for, to keep family alive. And so I was raised by my sisters and brothers and all different ages. I'm the youngest, of course, at the time. It wasn't until I got older that my one sister, God love her, she played me against everybody. Oh, they don't like you. I'm your only friend. And it's amazing how you feel inside and you carry all these emotions, so that it's not about blaming anybody. It's about seeing where it is you lose power. And as an adult, you have no idea you are controlled by your younger programs or your little age programs. And so you get influenced. Now, there's a difference between being influenced with spirit, influenced with ego. As I allowed myself to advance, I guess, as I began to heal my hells, and the hells are defined as that you have 2 states of mind. One of them is to have heaven on earth, or one is hell's on earth. If you see through the negative lens and everything's always about whining, complaining, you're seeing distraught, impending doom, anger, bitterness, constant this and constant that, then those are called hells. And then you can have a lot of major experiences with those. And through time, we are very impressionable. We believe that's the makeup of the world. And if we have traumas and dramas where they stick, there are certain points and ages where something will happen, and we've recorded it so well, so deeply. And because we're not able to process those thoughts, we refired and wired our thinking to help us solve or pacify. I mean, kids, when you're first born, get a nipple in your mouth, whether it's a passy or a real one. But the point is you have to help that child pacify what's going on, help them identify with the world. Why is it any different? Why? Why is it any different? When a child starts to grow, they have to figure out how to pacify. Oh, she needs to soothe herself, this and this and that. And we haven't really passed on that ability to help our children, to help us solve our issues. I mean, half the time we don't even know we have issues until we experience it ourselves. And half the time we're constantly saying, oh, that's just life. But is it? Is it really just life? So over the years, I kept asking the Spirit, okay, what do I got to do? How do I do this? How can I put myself in a different position, help myself so that I don't feel like I'm going crazy? Because I swear there are days when my hormones are off that it just feels crazy. How do you cope, handle, and deal with life? And, you know, I don't want to take on an addiction. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And sometimes we can't hear the inspiration. We're not able to hear Spirit. We get motivated by our emotions, and we get motivated by our health, and we get motivated by people. That we have a tendency to forget that we were Spirit first. And when you don't realize that you're Spirit first, you go to your programs. You know, how did you do things before? Now, as I'm talking, please remember you can send your emails to your questions about what you want me to read. I'll give you a 1-minute free read. Please send them to this email here. And you will, once we get that, and then get a few collected. And if anybody wants to pay, you're more than welcome to. Today is only $11 day. Just so you know, it's $11. And what is the code room? Oh, good point. When you allow yourself to be inspired, I have birds. And I love my birds. I love their feathers. I collect feathers off of the house. People come over and give me feathers. And my birdies, I swear, will just throw out a feather at me and say, here, have a feather. And it's like, how cool is that? So I collect them. And they are very comforting to me. You know, so it's exciting. Feathers are exciting. So Charlie, my big bird, you know, he's about this big and oh, got such a cool personality about him that it's like, okay, I'm in love. And so he'll go, hello. Especially if you're eating, he tries to go, I want what you have. Now, if you are eating something very specific and he doesn't say it, you're like, no, that's not what he wants. So I made Mexican food yesterday, but the way I do it is I made a fiesta soup. I made a spinach chicken, bean, rice, taco type thing. And then I made a cheese quesadilla and cornbread. So I eat the soup, nothing. I go to reach for my quesadilla. Hello. I'm like, oh, you want what? He's like, as soon as I put it in my mouth, hello, Charlie. I'm like, are you trying to tell me you want my food? Is you like Mama's hair? I copied you. I said, I liked your feathers so much that I was inspired, not by my programs, but by Spirit. I swore to God I was never going to dye my hair like this or get a tattoo or any of that because there's just some things that I just don't like. And, well, all of a sudden Spirit says, let's heal some crap that you have, the self-sabotaging or the fear of. And I did. And this is what came out. I kept seeing Spirit says, look, it's already done. It's already done. Just do it. And as I started to feel paranoia, I healed that out. And when I started to feel, oh my God, I can't do it, I healed that out. And wham, next thing I know, down at the store, buying it with all the excitement, come back, woohoo, put it all in, rubber bands all over. And took 2 days to do because we haven't got the electricity fixed in our house, so it's too dark to really do. And so I woke up with matted hair, but hey, the rubber bands were still in. And so then I decided, okay, today's the day we put the color in. Did the bleaching, let's do everything else. So as I'm sitting there eating my Mexican, his little feathers come up. Ooh. hello. And then he'll, hello. And he gets his feathers going. And I says, do you want some food? I says, this is your mama now. He didn't care about any of that. All he wanted is my cheese quesadillas. And hilariously enough, as soon as I pick up the cheese quesadilla, and if he has one, and I pick it up, he's like, oh, no. Hello? And I'm like, would you eat the one you have? Hello? I go and I pick up the one on the ground and goes, no, I want the one you got. I'm like, oh gosh. So I had like 4 left. And I ate everything else, and he tried the cornbread, and he's like, yeah, no. And then as soon as he started noticing the quesadillas getting less and less, he's just like, I'm like, goodness, I have an anxiety attack over there. Yes, a long-winded way of telling you I'm inspired. But at the same time, you do not have to have your hells interfere with your space. You can heal them. What's on the energy on this planet today is self-sabotage. You do it all the time. Why do we self-sabotage? Because they're programs. Like the story I told you. They're programs. They're programs of our youth. And people say, well, you can't go back in time to heal that. Yeah, you can. You just can't go back at that age. You can go back in as the adult you and mother yourself, father yourself. You can go in and help raise that part of who you are, so you don't have to, feel like you're alone or be stuck in your hells or repeat. You can actually change who you are. Again, if you would like your 1-minute free reading, then you go and email me your question there. That way we can stay in sync, because a lot of people don't realize that you have a 30-second to a minute delay. And I'm spending more time asking, are you here? Let's talk to you about it here. Let's do this. And it's like, no, I can get more people in if we keep the ball rolling. PayPal says I can't send. PayPal.me/reading11. Don't put an S in there. Some people put the word S in readings. Some people forget the dot when it comes to that. It should come up as me. Now, I think maybe I got my yellow shirt on. Mm-hmm. But it should come up. If that don't come up, then there is another alternative. And that is with my email. And if you really can't do that, just look down below where it says you email this. You can actually type in that MWS for you at dr.com into PayPal, and you can still pay. Self-sabotage. Did you know that's related to the gallbladder meridian? And how many times do we self-sabotage? Now, you may not think you do it, but let's look at it this way. Have you ever tried to lose weight and all of a sudden find yourself eating a candy bar or toast? First of all, you don't want to let go of what you love. Why? Because love is the one thing you want. Love may be something you feel like you're missing. So when you start doing association games and you associate love with a candy bar, you're pretty much not understanding that you already are love and that you do get love from the universe. You just want it very specific. And if you were to get rid of the thing that you love, then you're going to feel more deprived, alone, and then you self-sabotage. And for whatever reason, you were teased, and all of a sudden you have to make sure you can't ever get ahead because it's self-sabotage. Then you have to understand you haven't let go of the pain. So as I woke up this morning, my polarity is completely off. Polarity off, you can feel weird. You can feel out of sorts. You can feel like shit. You can feel you just can't get your shit together. And I'm going to tell you the biggest way to repair that would be to start to work on your meridians. But you guys don't know about source point healing, but you can do the hookup. That is finger in the belly button and finger in the forehead. So you push in and lift up. And you have to breathe and hold for 2 minutes. Okay? Now, that's not going to be cutting it. In source point healing, it usually will be a story of what's causing the polarity. Like I noticed my polarity was off last night, and a lot of you will say, oh, I can do pendulum readings, and then you convince yourself that that spirit told you this. But if your polarity is off and you don't know the difference of when you're off, you will get a false positive readings. Muscle testing using a pendulum, things like this. And this is where energy medicine is very important, because it'll also affect your moods. It'll affect your thinking. It'll affect your guidance. It'll affect your inspiration. So part of living, breathing, walking, talking, and dreaming about spirituality is to understand energetically you are more than just this physical body. But when this physical body needs a little love, you need to not just pick up a card and maybe say what's going on. There could be a story, but there's other things. Most of the time, people's polarity is off because some type of security, safety, or stability is off. So I woke up this morning and it's a habit. Everybody has habits. And it's a habit that if I don't get enough sleep the night before, then my polarity is going to be off. Does that mean that something's unhealthy and bad in me? No, it's just a habit. It's what we do to our circadian rhythms. You have a body clock? Yes, you do. You have the rhythms of your body. And when they're off, you can have some major issues. Okay? Now, as I'm looking, for me, my polarity is off for many reasons, but one of them is I have to live their way. Now, Spirit, when I have things like this, could you make things stick out like sore thumbs in order for me to see what is causing it? So I'm walking through the house and I hear the TV set say, I fell in line. And I'm like, what? And then I heard I had to act appropriately. And then I saw a meme. And so then I ended up running into the bedroom, and Nicole Kidman is talking about how Erased. And it's the new movie. And it's pretty much the wife is telling, the woman is telling her son, I don't need to, toe the line or fall in line. It is part of the paradigm. This paradigm is leaving. You are really individually upgrading to not going back to the 3D world. That the transference is going to be a little upsetting. But if you don't know how to take care of those hells, when you talk about future, so let's talk about the future. I can read your future, trust me. But the shit you want to know is always going to be controlled by the stuff I know. And if you want a better future, which is what you want to hold, then you have to understand why you sabotage yourself. You have to understand why the programs are there so that you can go forward. So it's not that I can't do future reads. I'm not going to tell you the stuff you want to hear just so that you can feel good about yourself. I need you to understand if I give you that and it fails, then you're not going to take the cause and effect where it needs to be. You're going to blame me, live in victim mode, and you're going to recycle. I don't want you to have to become victimized in that fashion. I don't want you to have to take that in the new 3D or 5D world. I care about you that much. Why do you think that this is so important? I want all of us to succeed. And those that if it's just not in alignment with it, so be it. I respect their souls. But there's a lot of you that don't know how to, control, which is the word I hate. Okay? Hate is a strong thing too. But it is the connotation of these words. That's all it is. It is upgrading what we think and say and believe and, power. You have a personal life force power called the chi. It is what keeps you running. Is your body warm, cold, whatever? The point is it's still functioning. That's life force. We call it chi. It's called power, your personal power. How many times have you given your personal power away because that took offense, or you're disgusted. I mean, you're sending that shit out, trying to hold your power and going, oh my God, that disgusts me. How many times have you done the disdain face? Really? Which means you have no idea, but you just jumped into, I can't give you respect. You're beneath me type energy. How many times have you done it to yourself? How many times have I woke up some 52 odd years, looked in the mirror going, who the hell is this woman today? And what happened to the beauty? That's self-abuse. It's not, hello, gorgeous. You're alive today. You woke up in the body. Good job. Why are you here? What do you want to do? No. That paradigm was all about we have to condemn, we have to control, we have to do. Man, that's the paradigm. We're done. Control. You want to get ahead of what owns you. You need to put the power of control, not with your ego, not with your logical left brain, but with your higher self. You need to take those hells and you need to kick them to the curb. People go, oh, I can't get ahead in life. Find out why. Heal it out. You can resolve that. It's a chemical peptide. Emotions are chemical peptides. And it's locked in the body. You can heal out the habit. You just have to stand in the cause and go, oh, no, don't want that. But you don't do this just by logically thinking. You have to bring the blood back up to the frontal lobe and create. Okay? You need to move forward, and you got to put the power of choice, the power of you, not only have to be in your false self. I can't tell you how many countless times myself and other people have thought, oh my God, they don't even know when they're paranoid. They don't, and when somebody tells you when you're paranoid, oh, you're paranoid, you're like, oh, F you. I am not. That's taking it personal. You lose power. But you're not a program. You really aren't. I wake up happy every day. I go to bed happy every day. And it's just amazing to me to think this. And I really am surprised and happy every time. It's like, whoa, here we go. I love this. Watching old movies going, oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, I wasn't happy then. Oh, hey, you can actually see your progress because you don't measure it by other people. You measure it about how you were yesterday. And you got to be kind and patient with yourself. And a lot of times we just don't have new information. We're just trying to grab new information, but with the same mind that created the hells. And then if we filter it with the old information, then we miss the point of what we're learning. So you need to get in control of those programs. You can. So, hello, Amy. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm better than you're better than what?
Than I was earlier.
So was your polarity off?
Yep.
And how did that feel? How did it control your thinking and all that?
Well, I kind of had a headache. Kind of, my head was kind of spinny, but it was just, I felt weird.
You felt weird, yeah. And so that was the best way to describe it. But that's your habit. That's who you are. That's what you're used to. But at the same time, you're like waking up going, I don't really want to feel this way anymore. And so, and I'm not surprised because part of the self-sabotage and the part of this energy alignment is to address how your polarity goes off, how you go into old habits, how the habit seems to control you. So again, if you want a future read with me, understand it's not the hot seat. It is not hell. I'm not pointing out flaws. I'm not pointing out anything you don't already know. I'm going to help you understand the connections of where they come from and how they affect your world. And you can do something about it. You don't have to be a victim of it. You can learn how to jump in the cause and change the effect. You have the power to resolve, to evolve, heal instead of deal. So if you're here and you think that I'm just going to be a bitch, then go find somebody else. That's not what I'm here for. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And do we have any emails?
We have a page, Danny Page.
Oh, awesome. Well, let's find out. See, when I help people heal, most of the time it's the future reads and they just don't know I'm doing it. So if you do pay, you get to jump the queue. That's always the best thing to do because you're important to yourself. Okay. Look at all these beautiful people. So today, we do have, we have Arlene Johnson. Oh, I know what that is. And she did it. Okay. So when you guys pay, understand it's not a product. You're getting the service. And if you pay a product, then they take out gobs of money. And I'm already giving you at a low, low price. Okay, that's fine. Danny. Miss Danny.
Yes, I have 3 emails.
Okay. So now you're going to get to see this. Now, Danny, are you coming on or are we doing it like this? Your choice. You get to decide. So you get 6 minutes. She's paying for 6 minutes. 6 minutes. You want to know what 6 minutes looks like? A lot of good shit can come through. And because Danny has worked with me, she knows that she's going to get healing tools, or I'll suggest other ones that maybe she don't know about, but we'll see. And usually it's all about the way we word things. Why, thank you, Anna.
For some reason,
I can't hear you.
I pinned the post.
Yeah.
It's pinned to the computer, but it won't pin to the phone.
Well, as long as it shows up. And we have Miss Danny. And is it okay to make you big?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you'll have to turn down my voice. Yes, that's not what I wanted. There we go.
This is why I use headsets.
Okay, so this is what's important. Miss Danny, you have something very specific you want to look at? Besides eating, I really want that thing.
Okay.
You just ate.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's tasting
I
really
wasn't
good.
expecting to go through so soon. I thought you were in the middle of other people.
Oh, you could have said you could have waited.
No, it's okay. I don't mind.
Yeah, but it's going to melt. You got 6 minutes worth of it melting. You sure you don't?
Charlie, here you go.
Oh, honey. That's okay. He's happy.
Kind of melting. But I was actually having night terrors earlier, and it was the weirdest thing. I haven't had night terrors since I was on Seroquel, and that was years ago.
Ooh.
Like 7 years ago.
All right. So
like night terrors, waking up, freaking out because my kid was touching me and screaming type night terror, not just waking up, like having a nightmare.
Okay. See, and this is based on the future. The future is the fact is something there's a party that's deeply afraid you're going to repeat something. Okay, a great panic. Now, in order to get your future, we're going to go to the past, and that is you have something stored in your heart that you couldn't cope with. At what age was this? It says age 2. You had something similar, so you can kind of see it, and it was age 5, and another one. How old are you, dear?
I'm 23 right now.
Oh, who's this? Is this your future? No, this is your. Okay, so do you know? Okay, so you won't probably know that. Somebody. Okay, all right. I feel like somebody was 30 years old, and it was like your mother. So this is like you've seen it. Something about how you saw it. It's interesting because you are. So is this a genetic thing? No, it's familiar. So we're looking for what's familiar. Okay, so when you can't cope with something, you will go into panic. And you're going to repeat this. You're going to repeat this. And as I'm looking at it, what is this one thing? And you said, I'm very petrified. And if I ask you what it's about, you said, I feel deficient and that I cannot change it. I can't change the behavior. I can't change people. I can't change it. Something about I can't change it. There's no way to be compatible. There's no way to be compatible. I just don't want to be compatible with this. And you keep chanting it. And it keeps going in is that all I know is to be helplessness. And then I said, okay, can you give me what caused this? They says, very good. It's being scorned. And I feel this invading energy going right through me and it panics me. So when I'm looking at this.
Man, this is following me.
What's that?
So I sent you a message like last week, and it was actually about pretty much the same thing. Because I know exactly what this is. As soon as you said age 2 and then age 5, and then my mom at age 30, which was right around the same time I was born, and not being able to change things, and then scorned. Now I know exactly what this is, and it's pissing me off because I don't.
Okay, so take a look at the fact is her body, everything is trying to process. Now she's made a connection at the age as she is right now, and we're going to ask Spirit. Now, normally we just go in and start to heal what you couldn't cope, but they said that hysterical, you got something out of it. Okay, it is that you become very self-conscious of overtime hopelessness. So when you got very upset, oh my God, it was very apparent that you're just hopeless. You cannot help us. You can't change it. You completely believe 1,000% out of 100, 1,000% that you can't change it. You were convinced that you can't change. Okay. Now I'm going to ask Spirit, is it because of a particular, no, this was what you did toward yourself that had to do with getting self-efficacy, which is getting the results you need. You don't think you can get the results, which means at some point, like children, like if you ever watch your children, when they want something, they will look at a particular outcome and they will keep focusing and giving you all the same behavior and until you scare them, punish them, or do something to the point, here you go, honey, to the point where they will change their behavior, but they'll live in fear. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All right, hold L1D. Hold L1D for me, sweetie. See, this is what's held in your heart. So that's why you constantly are going back to panic. This is back to the panic. And you've been having heart issues or heart things with the heart monitor and all this other stuff because your body is saying, can you heal it now?
And this was actually a conversation I had with Amy because it's been following me around now for years. But there's, and I know that it's connected, and this is going back to the very root, and that's with familial abuse and being obsessed with keeping safe. But now it's keeping my family safe, and there's a repeating an obsessive vision and a dream, and it's coming to the point where I can't stop it and I can't like override it in my own brain, and so I'm just having to ride through it and trying to ignore it at the same time while living my life.
So you know what stability, instability is, right? I mean, everything is going good until that earthquake kicks in, and then everything just feels unstable. Okay. If you hold L1D right now, let's do this, okay? I want you to put this, how you know your story, how you know your life, and I'm going to go a little longer. I want you to put it on the scale from 0 to 10 for me.
That's going to be about an 8.
Okay, now I want you to, and I asked Spirit, and they go, yeah. So if I asked you that you use this to keep yourself safe, you have to constantly be, have the habit of feeling panic so you can prevent something. Okay, you're trying to prevent something. And you're self-justifying why you should keep the panic while your body is saying, oh my God, I can't do this anymore.
Exactly.
Your brain is saying, we're done. Okay. So when that energy came to you of being scorned, it went right through. It got stuck. Okay. It's like, and I want you to keep thinking of this. I'm going to talk to them. I want you to just keep thinking how you know your story. So for those that are watching, understand it's like if I were to hit my fingers at the tips and really hard, that energy is going to reverberate all the way to my elbow. Now, if it doesn't energy doesn't come out the elbow, then I'm going to have elbow issues. I'll be like, gosh, what did I do to my elbow? When in my mind, I'm like, I hit it here. Okay. There's also referable pain, transferring pain, but it is the energy is stuck. What I see is that every time she tries to go into her future, to whatever she wants, she has her past in front of her. Now, as she's healing, I'm going to ask her to where is this? Is it in your head? Is this story of your life constantly in front of you, a couple inches? Where is it?
Right now, it's been, I know that it's right now it's in my head, but it feels like, and it seems like it's like right in front of me kind of thing.
Good. So when you look at your day's event, what do you have to be panicked about? Your son, work, going out, fear for the kids? You know?
It is a fear for myself and the kids, but it's actually an intruder.
Okay.
So it's
when you look at that intruder, when you're looking at the intruder, is it in front of you?
Yeah, most of the time.
Which eye?
Left.
Okay, now notice this intruder. Is it moving or still?
Moving.
Okay, and I want you to do is I want you to pretend like you've taken a picture and you freeze frame it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He's unable to move. And what I want you to do is now notice, is it feel better or different or the same?
Different. It's gone from fear to kind of like wary.
Okay. Now, if we were to take that picture and make it small, does that feel good, better, and different?
And different.
Good. Now, if we were to take it and you got to decide how you want to do this. Now, you're just going to remove and transcend, let go of all the emotions, and you're going to take those wisdom, and you put that in that special place where all wisdom goes. As you preserve all the wisdom, there you go. Now, notice the age you were. And notice that you can have the power to make it disappear, like in the smoke. And as you do that, I want you to walk past. So you place it in your past, and then it just stores a memory. It files it away. It's done. Okay. And as you do that, I want you to switch eyes and then look through that other eye, same story, and tell me the number.
This one's about way less. It's about a 4.
Good. And if we were to allow ourselves, is that in front of us?
No.
Where's this one?
It's just kind of like a hallway.
Good.
Where
now,
each of these is much better stored.
Okay. So we're just going to take the emotions. We're going to take the key out of the emotion. Okay. And what happens when you take the key out of the emotion, and that molecule is the emotion, the key disappears, and the molecule becomes happy again. Okay, so it's like it had a thorn in its paw, and that poor molecule is like going, "Oh my God, this hurts," But you took it out, and now it's like, "Oh, I feel so much better," and the cells can be happy again. Remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. Now switch eyes, and again, as it's disappeared and stored away, what picture do you have now? Go right back to the beginning. Go right back to this intruder. Go right back. Do you see anything?
It's more opaque.
Okay.
But it's not as bad.
Number?
I'm going to say about a 6. So.
Very good. Very good. So what you're going to do is we're going to remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. Now, you're going to take and you're going to look up. And as you begin to look up, I want you to travel with me to the past, to where you were the safest that you were. And as you were so safe, none of this exists. Okay? You haven't had the experience yet. We're just going to preserve all the experiences, the necessary experiences. Now, I'll go back a little bit further. And as you are staring at the joy, go back 15 minutes before that, and where you were super joyful and everything was safe. Stability was what you knew. You have records of stability, security, and safety. Okay. And as you do that, I want you to turn around real quick and push that, what you know in front of you, into your future. Well, all the little ages that you've ever been, to all, there you go. And as you start to do that, and you're like, yes, now you got to really connect with this feeling, and you bring it forward, come back into that eye. And when you look again, what number is it?
It's dropped down substantially. Say it's still about a 3.
Okay, so it still has to believe in anxiety, panic. It still has to keep it? No. Do you still feel like you have to do something toward yourself? You have to live through other people, and other people have to be in charge. Other people have to intrude. Other people have to invade that with that energy. And there's no difference when you're a kid or you're an adult. It's just how you manifest different characters to show up. And notice that it was invading you. You're like, but do I have to? No, I do not need to have this reminder. I can change the frequency. As you do that, start to remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. Now switch eyes. And then look to the beginning of that whole story. And we know what stability is now. What number do you have?
This one's like pretty much completely gone. This one is a 0.
Good.
Oh. I love my child so much.
But did you notice that energy didn't invade as deep?
Yes. That one was on my right side. It's just about completely gone. It's just like this.
But I want you to notice
light blue.
That when you heard your son, a part of you wasn't as frustrated as before.
Yes, it's just kind of like a noise thing where.
Yeah. Okay. So now
get
you can.
The remote on the stand. Get me the remote. 1.
Okay.
Pretty good.
You either give me the controller or you give me the TV remote. One or the other. Because I am in a meeting and I'm having a conversation.
Now, feel that
you
stress.
can't play right now, okay? Because you're screaming, dude.
L1D, hold L1D. You're doing good. Now feel the stress. Feel the stress. And this is you fighting yourself.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, L1D, fight yourself. Fighting yourself. It's amazing what we store in our heart, people. It's amazing. As you look to the intruder and that feeling and that you have to fight yourself and you can feel it and you can hear it, it's all jumbled, but you could really define it because you're an artist. You could actually pinpoint. I want you to stare at it. Everybody wants attention. You feel how your nerves are dancing on just not even one leg. Just notice. Ugh. Feel it in your face. Notice this is my habit. This is my life. This is how I know what my identity is. This is how I know I'm alive. And there you go. But it's a panic. It's the panic. Notice how you turn to panic as your action. It's like you have to respond with panic. So remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. But notice how the more you respond in panic, the more how the energy tries to overpower you. And remember, you already know what stability is. We're just going to put down and say, you know what? I can let go of this panic. I don't need to be bullied. I can be done with it. I can change that belief. I value peace. I have that strength. I value what's important to me is to have that energy to do so. And right now, I've operated many years without having that energy to get the results I'm looking for. So I have to fight with myself to live that way, to always constantly be in action. Remove, transcend, let it go. Notice the pain that controlled and you stored it. There it is. And do you really need to keep that pain? You start to remove, transcend, let it go. You have an arrested development that you can't live beyond it. We're going to let that go. And a self-imposed limitation that I have to feel this way. I can't figure it out. I have to be in great alarm because I didn't understand the instability when I was little. When I would expand my energy. When I expanded my energy, I am going to be controlled. When I expand my energy, people are going to act mean. Even when I expand it with great love. Remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. So you can stop screaming at yourself inside your head. And what you do now is notice that you can't cope. It's not you, but it is the person that was in front of you. They couldn't cope. They sent that energy through you. You were so open, you felt their energy coming through, and it felt like action, panic. It's not even your panic. You can feel that invading energy. Now we're going to remove the invading energy. We're going to remove the invading energy. And notice that this invading energy of impending doom is not even yours. Give it back. Just let them have it. Say, no, I'm done. I'm done carrying. I'm done having karma. You need to resolve this. This is yours. I'm just going to give it back. You're done. Pull it out of yourself. Are you still fighting yourself? You still feel like you have to feel depressed because you can't change it. And if you're, there you are.
Not as much.
And you're starting to notice the difference of all these pieces. And now you're beginning to understand these emotions, that they were somebody else's. And I was trying to adjust. I was trying to be me around when they have these emotions. They have pain, and I was trying to save them. Observe all the positive learnings. Start to remove, transcend, and let it go, let it go, let it go. Now notice that somebody's pride was hurt. What happens when a person's pride's hurt? They're either going to attack or they're going to sit back and lick their wounds. Everybody is doing their best to survive. But the way that you get controlled is when they go muddled. And then when they go self-centered, that you start to feel lack of power. You become very conscious of what's happening, and you go into an auto response that you need to panic because you know that you're going to disconnect, that scorn's going to happen. You have to make yourself like feel like shit first. And then as long as you procrastinate doing anything you want, then maybe everything will start to calm down. And the reaction that you're about ready to get begins to stop being your identity. So you have got to identify that this is how life is and how people are. But do you need to? And you got to make that go. You got to make that decision. You don't need this in the future. You don't need this to be your identity. Preserve all the positive learnings. Start to remove, transcend, and let it go. Remember those pictures that you were looking at? And what numbers are they now?
Right is 0. Left is 0.
And when you think about what I just said, you're going to have to give yourself time to process in a very healthy way, which means your body is going to reestablish a few things, and you'll have to keep on top of it, maybe by doing some EFT or something. But you got to notice when you're going into habit, and it's hard to do when you have children. I'm fully aware of that, but do you need your future always to have panic in it?
No.
And I think right now your little self is going, I don't really have to define my future as what I did, because I am getting results. And I don't have to abuse myself when people start acting erratic, that erratic behavior. I don't really have to tear myself down or feel like it's invading my space. I can actually push and feel like I can put a wall up, and that I can actually become better at helping. And when people start to exert their power, you have a shield that goes up. It doesn't stop you from loving. Okay? Okay. Now, you may take your hand down and just be aware that you are going to continue as this because you got to address your habit. Okay?
Yes. Very much so.
And start taking notice that, am I taking panic into the future here? And does this have to be the end result? Because you already have, in the past, you already have stability. We just have to give that power back to you. Okay? And when you watch this recording again, you'll begin to look at some of the words deeper. Okay?
Yes.
But I feel like you have walked past this now. When you think of the intruder, he should be gone. It should not be in the eyes. It should be gone. It's like you should have, you went past it. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, good job. I appreciate you being here. I really do. And thank you for letting me give you a few more minutes. I'm sure that wasn't a bad thing.
No, it was not.
All right. We will talk to you later. And thank you so much.
Yes. Honey. Yes. Thank you, Brenda.
All right. Bye-bye, dear.
Bye.
Okay. So I think we have another person in the room. And let me just double check with that. She's one of my students in my pilot classes. And when a person sometimes really wants to work and heal themselves, this makes me very happy and joyful. Now, the next person, all right, we have a Sharon Gordon, and then I have a Melinda Lane as well. So Melinda, you're new. So if you wanted to come on, you can. Up next is Sharon. So, hi, dear. How are you? Get the... Oh, you got your drum. Oh, I love it. It's gorgeous. I love those. Yes. I miss using my drums a lot. I'm in the suburbs now, so you can't really go to town with the drumming.
Doggone it.
Yeah, but I love them. I'm so happy you have one. So how can I help you, dear?
I was wondering, Spirit wants me to work on something, but I'm not sure what.
Okay, then we will look at it. So what's coming in the future for you is that, oh, hold on. I got to figure out what that says.
Okay.
Of course, I don't have my glasses on, so let me just see if I can see it.
Love your hair. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you, dear. I could see that being done for you, too.
Yeah, I don't think anybody around here would know how to do that.
Oh, I did it myself.
You did it yourself?
Yeah, we'll have to talk. Cool. It's not hard. Rubber bands, couple dyes, bleaching.
Tie-dye?
Yeah. There you go. I like that. Okay, it says here that, so you attract, your future self. No, you. All right, so what happens is that in your future, you keep attracting people that I'm a good guy. Don't look at what I'm really doing. Do you understand that?
Not quite.
Okay. So you have a narcissist, or you have somebody in your life that just says, everybody thinks they're the greatest person in the entire world, but yet they don't see is how this person has abused, hurt other people. And so when other people look, they're like, well, what's wrong with you, Sharon? He's a great man. What's wrong with you? But at the same time, this person will come across, see, I'm a good one. Sharon, it's all in your head. Do you understand?
Yeah, they're all like that. Past.
But you understand of that past, okay? So the future says that energy is still there. And I ask why. And it's because they did a number of you in the past where they wounded your pride to get power.
Okay.
So just think about that. You're happy. You're doing your thing. And did you ever have to feel like you had to stop doing that because they didn't like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to understand where you're at now. You are the happy woman that's allowing yourself, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And you're learning how to pick yourself up. You're learning how to move forward. And you want love back in your life. But your future self
But not on old terms.
Exactly. But there is a self-sabotage that's going on toward yourself. And I ask, well, what do you mean? And they said, well, you feel that insecurity. And I say, okay, why? And they said, well, it's because of habit. You hold on to that insecurity as habit because this is what you thought about yourself when you were 2 years old. And that has to do with storing pain. I said, oh, well, what age did you store the pain? At 1 year old. And what does this pain mean? And they said, well, you had to suppress love. Oh, you had to suppress yourself? No, I had to suppress love. Love? You had to suppress love. Why? Because you panicked. Why? Did you start doing that? Do you know what self-loathing is?
Yeah.
Do you do it?
Sometimes.
Okay. So they said that you probably, when you're doing it, but there are times you do it and you don't even know you do it. Because how you saved yourself when the good guy would actually hurt you is that as long as they put you in that position of self-loathing and you then started to do it to yourself, they knew they had you.
My last one was real good at that.
Okay. So at 1 year old, you begin to self-loathe because you saw somebody do that. So in your family, you could see that was the norm. That's what you're supposed to do. Some people back in that day would self-loathe out loud. Like if let's say you're on your mother's hip and no one else is around, most of the time people don't realize kids are very vulnerable. And if she's self-loathing, oh, that was a stupid thing to do, blah, 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 all that denigration, let's say she's talking out loud. You wouldn't know whether it's to you or what's the story, who's it to, what's happening. You just know that you have to do that to yourself. And I said, well, what happened to the point at 1? You witnessed someone being hysterical, that erratic behavior, they're hysterical. You could feel their panic. You could feel as you're watching that the relationship of compatibility is starting to change. You didn't want to let that go. You identified that that's what love is. So you got rid of the first part of the love. Love is love. But love equals when somebody treats you erratically. I'm a good person, but really don't look at what I'm really doing. I've identified with that as a 1 year old. And so self-loathing became something that you thought you had to do in order to have a relationship. Does that make sense?
Good. Yeah, it sounds more like my grandmother than my mother, though.
There you go. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
We
matter.
lived in the same house.
There you go. Well, now you know. They want you to do L1D,
Okay.
and they want you to look at, write down the word forlorn, and then look it up.
Okay.
Love unreceived.
Okay.
This is how you know what love is. Love equals that it has to be this. Now, once you begin to look at what forlorn means, you're going to start noticing that that's the past. You're like, holy crap, but that's what you're creating in the future. Your whole future part of you says you need to begin to change this identity, and that love equals this. Okay?
Okay.
You got to get it out of your heart, because you're getting ready to have love. Because I can see that. But we want to attract better.
Much, much better.
Exactly. At least you're up to the forefront of saying, I am ready to have a little love now. We just need to redefine it. Okay. You got this.
Okay.
Now you know how to report back to me if you need to,
Yep.
Okay. Good job. And thank you so much. Now you go and heal, because I need you to go look up that word forlorn and really get yourself in that high number of how you identify with it. Oh, that's why Spirit went. You also have to think of self-loathing when you hold L1D.
Okay.
Because this is what you think you have to do in order to be love, get love. Yeah, it's time for that to go.
I agree.
All right, you've got this, okay? I know you can. All right, bye, honey.
Yep. Bye, thank you.
Okay, so we have the next person up, and that's Melinda Lane. Hello, can you see me? Okay, so you're going to adjust the volume, and soon we'll be able to hear you. Yep. Oh, I can hear you. I can hear me through there.
I can see you. I had the phone going there for a while. I'll shut that off.
Okay, we'll give you a second to do that. And good that you wanted to do this. Now, how can I help you, dear?
Well, I was on your call the first time last week, and you mentioned about an incident maybe that I was all my people pleasing and that constant need to help everyone else and never help myself. And I want to heal that.
Excellent. Excellent. Oh, yeah. You. Yeah. So this feels like a karmic debt. The karmic debt in this case is there's a part of you that felt that you had to save people. And I asked, is this past life? And I go, no. This is just literally how you thrown the energy off, because that's what spirit told, well, not you or spirit, but how the world, the paradigm says, hey, you're going to be coming in at this age, and this is what you're supposed to do. And that's not true. Okay. That's just not true. And I'm looking a little bit further, and they said, you have to be something you can't, out of sympathy. So when you feel sympathetic, you can't help but yourself, but you morph right into, and you disappear. And then dun, 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 it's like you had to take on the archetype of the hero. But it's also something that's built into you that knows that you can, which then confuses you, because you can actually see the result of how it helps. Okay.
How it could help.
Yeah. So now I'm looking inside of you going, okay, where is Melinda? Okay. So now we're going to look a little bit further. And they said, well, it is, at one point you felt worthless. Okay. 2 years old, you felt worthless. And then all of a sudden, what you said toward yourself was, what if I did this? Now that's good for a 2-year-old. Oh, was the RTJP. Okay, the right temporal junction parietal lobe is to think what other people think. We begin to develop that at that age. And when you started to do this, you began to notice that they made you feel good. Okay, when you helped others, you start to have some worth. But then you come along with some people that kind of take advantage of that to some degree too. Can you feel that? And then at the same time, you started to panic that well, who would I be if I let that go? I don't want to go back to. And so I said, so you took that on because you panicked because of why? Well, I don't want to feel defenseless. For the first time at 2 years old, you started to feel like you could protect yourself. Okay. Now, what age did you finally decide that about, I don't know how old you are, my dear, but I see something about 40. Something happened
I'm 60 now.
Oh, you're gorgeous. Okay. But something happened when you were 40 that said, I don't want to do this anymore. It didn't work for you anymore. You started to realize probably you needed to add yourself to the equation. Usually about that time is when we do that. But you had conflicting beliefs.
40 was when I went on my spiritual journey. Like when I first started all of that stuff.
See, that makes sense because you at 40, you're like, but I don't want to do old programs. So now we have to help you get rid of that old program. So what I want you to do is hold left wrist. Okay, we're going to go in the first position. And you're going to put your thumb right there. And you're going to put your pointer finger here. No, it's under the thumb. Yeah, there we go. Very good. Now you're going to push your thumb in deep. Put your pointer finger here. And then wrap those 3 fingers around. There you go. Now go like this. I want you to give me your story. Get it nice and high that, I try to do this. First, go into the frustration that now when you try to do your loving act, it's not wanted by some people. Have you felt that?
Well, I just feel sad all the time.
Good. We're there. That's what we want. We want to just feel that. Feel the sadness. Feel the sadness. That's very important. Put that on the scale from 0 to 10. And 10 being the worst. What do you have?
Like right in this moment?
When you think of it, yes, do your best to get there. Because forlorn, just like from the last lady, is that it's about pitifully sad and abandoned or lonely. Notice what you did to yourself as you abandoned yourself.
Probably a 6, I think.
And when you feel sad, it's that you can't really have you included in your life.
Now we're going up to 8.
And now it's kind of expected of you that the moment you started included yourself in your life, you're now considered bad. There you go. Now it should be getting higher.
Yep.
Now feel the habit. Feel that habit. This is what pulls you back in. Pulls you back in. We're going to preserve all the positive learnings. I'm going to start to remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And I want you to feel now the unrequited love, meaning I don't get that love back. I can love, but I don't see people loving the way I love. I reach out, but I just feel that I love more than they do, or I love in a certain way and they just can't love me. And notice that you abandon yourself, that you can't love yourself like that. Now, no worries, because you decided to come on the air, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes, okay? Feel how you can't love yourself in the equation. Because how you identified as a child was that you were supposed to love yourself by giving yourself away. And at age 40, you're going, but we need to turn that around. And you did not know that you abandoned yourself. Your little self didn't even know. Now you have to let people deal with their own issues, because there's no reason for you to take on their karma, because they're not going to learn it. You are, but they're not. And you're like, okay, nope, I'm going to let them do it. I'm going to put the oxygen mask on me. I'm going to look towards myself. And have you ever felt abandoned before?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I want you to tell me what age pops up for you when you felt abandoned.
Well, the only thing I can think of, like, I was abandoned. My story is I was abandoned as a child, but I think when my twin sister died 3 years ago.
Oh, God, that one's a strong one. Yes. Now, I want you to notice, what would you do if you saw somebody that was abandoned? I mean, you're really good with finding ways to answers. How would you help somebody that was abandoned?
just grab them up.
Okay. What I want you to do is when you're, well, they actually said when you're about 49 and a half, notice that you didn't know what to do with his emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of went back to old detail of abandoning yourself. Now go in there and see yourself at 49 and a half and go and rescue her. Go take care of that. Say, yes, those feelings are real. And that's okay. Allow yourself to feel that. But go give yourself a hug and say, you know, I'm there for me. Oh, this is too good. I'm going to go a little longer. Allow yourself to just hang in there. Look at yourself. Can you see yourself? Can you see? There you go. Now feel it in your body. Did your body feel lost?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's interesting is that I can feel in my face like a lot of sinus pressure, a lot of crying and inner crying.
Yes.
A lot of sadness. Just allow yourself to feel it. And we're going to preserve all the positive learnings. We're going to start to remove and transcend and let it go. We're going to let the body process it out, Notice that what is the opposite of abandon? You're found.
Mm.
And that vulnerability, I want you to start to feel whole. I want you to start to feel complete. I want you to go rescue yourself. I want you to begin to give yourself love. You're so good at it for everybody else. Look at you right there, 49 and a half, needs you. And it's interesting enough, but your 15-year-old self says, can I join in? More the merrier. And then your 2-year-old self says, I want in on this too. So y'all just having a nice big group hug there.
Mm.
And notice the 2-year-old says, but it has an auto response that it has to feel indifferent, that it didn't matter. And it didn't know how to live past that. Say, okay, let's take that feeling out and just start to remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. Here you go. And now have sympathy toward yourself. You're really good at knowing what it means. But pass out that sympathy to the rest of you. You spent years learning how to do it for everybody else, not so you can get to this moment where you could do it for yourself. You didn't understand it. Why do I have to do this? I can't figure it out. But you were gathering. You were gathering just for this moment. That I know what sympathy is, and I can give it to myself because look, there's my 2-year-old, there's my 15-year-old, and there's my 49-and-a-half-year-old. And I want you to feel right now, you said you lost your twin?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be okay if the twin touched you on the shoulder?
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to see the twin in your mind?
Mm.
Can you feel this?
Mm-hmm.
Feel and notice that you've given and received, and you have taken and learned how to receive. Learning to receive, and it stays. Nothing has to disappear now. Everything can just feel whole. Feel that reunion. Now, when we started off, you said it's an 8. No, it's a 10. What is it now?
It's a 2.
Okay, now notice how you had to shame yourself if you weren't there for people.
Mm-hmm.
Notice how you had to feel sorrow, and that was your call to say, I have to go there. If you see sorrow, that's my call. That's like a Batman call. I have to go there. Well, you know what? They have to learn how to fly on their own. And you're going to start learning how to show up differently. And you're going to remove all of that negative feelings. And I want you to begin to feel whole again. And now what number is it?
So in that moment, it's like 0. Like
Good.
just all this light.
Notice that all the pain
It-
represented something. It's done now. We're going to put that
Mhm.
pain in that special place where it no longer needs to be, which is a memory. And as that negativity passes through, you're going to get all the positive learnings, all of that wisdom, and it's put into that special place. And that muddled instability you carried with you has started to come clear. You've learned to recenter. You've learned to recenter the self instead of becoming self-centered and have to be around other people that have self-centered. You don't have to do that. You can put yourself in the center and center yourself. And you can let go of all of the pain now. Now, when you look inside, do you feel a little bit more complete and whole?
I do.
Good, good. And take your hand down. And when you feel this way again, which you shouldn't, but you do have habits, I want you to hold the same point, L1D. That's left wrist at first position, deep. And when you do that, you may notice how you had to sever love when you didn't understand some things. Okay? And any habit, you can go back and say, ooh, that's a strong one. Okay, fine. But if you're starting to notice and you're like, but I don't have to, good, you're changing. But you got to give yourself credit for this. And you need to witness the difference, because the more you witness a difference, the more you graduate, and then Spirit's going to help you grow even more. Now you take your beautiful self and keep that smile shining. Okay? And thank you so much for being on. I appreciate this. Mwah.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye, dear.
Thank you. Yeah, bye.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. And that is so important to understand when you have these feelings. And let me just double check. And we're going to start taking, if nobody else is paid, then we're going to start taking, what do you call it? Emails. And, oh, James. James, did you want to do it through video, or did you want to do it through here? Your call, darling, your call. You decide what you want. As we're waiting for James to decide what he wants to do. Amy, I see you have bangs, your fringe.
I do.
And so you finally allowed yourself to feel that you could do this, to feel lovely and beautiful. Everybody want to see her? Look at what an incredible difference. It's going to feel strange not knowing who you are.
Yes, it is.
Now remember, you can, and when you change one aspect, you may have to change another. Don't be surprised, but you're starting to sculpt and form into you, not your old patterns.
Great.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. So as we, wondering what Spirit has to say about my relationship and if I'm heading in the right direction. Okay. That's what we're going to do. And then after that, we're going to do the 1 minute reads if nobody else is paid. All right, James. Now, when it comes to relationship, you put a lot of, okay. Let me look at your future self for just a second. Fanatical. I need to look up the word fanatical because there's something going on. Obsessive concerned with something, filled with excessive and single-minded zeal. All right, how are we going to use that? Is that what he's doing? Wow, you're making everything, I mean, the energy is like, ah. Yes, it is. Okay, so here we go. That's interesting because what I've got is that this is what you do. So at 3 years old, you felt fanatical that you weren't going to do it right. That towards yourself, you have this fanatical energy that sits inside the heart, but then you feel, know that as long as I put myself in the it position, then I'll be loved by my mother. Oh, shoot. I love your mom too. I hope your mom. Anyway, the whole point is can you feel like women need to be the center of attention? Well, as you have grown, you need to become the center of your universe and moving forward. And either you keep pulling people into you that have the same pattern of what you knew as a child. So if you've ever seen any of these that I just said, then you're going to hold L1D. And then you're also going to hold L1D and think about that fanatical feeling. When I asked why, they said, well, towards yourself is that as you began to expand yourself as a child, it was a little bit shocking that you had to be something that you're not out of sympathy. So you had to look at any family members that needed attention, and you kind of put yourself as the it in the it position, and because you didn't know how else to cooperate with that. Now that you're a grown man and have kids of your own, it's like, so let's talk about this relationship, and it is stay optimistic about your love life. And what are we going to supposed to do with this person? And is that sometimes you not sure if you really want to put romantic feelings into this relationship because there is a lot of what we just talked about? No, because towards yourself, you feel like you're deficient and that you're going to repeat the pattern. Well, tell me more about this person. And they said that there's a lot of finances and career things. So make sure that you are not the sole supporter unless that's the position that you understand and what you want to do. Do you feel like you have to be the hero? Do you feel like you have to, what's this card? They said that you've had a past life relationship with this person that you recently are with. And the thing that you are continuing on is this energy of loftiness. Who's going to be in charge? Who's going to be, and in the beginning, you don't notice it. Now, are you going down the right direction when it comes to this relationship? It says, learning how to reconcile with this part of yourself, and that is as you expand. Right now, all you know how to do is contract. And every time you contract, that means you've abandoned yourself. You've abandoned how you feel. You've abandoned. You need to heal that out because you can't just use force to move you forward, or else you're just going to cause yourself more heartache. So you're going to hold L1D. And when you know that you have to abandon yourself and you've had to figure out what to do with these feelings. You may want to free yourself of, you need to heal first, okay? When it comes to this person, you need to heal yourself, because if you don't heal yourself, you can't connect properly. And if you begin to heal yourself and you can begin to connect properly, then you'll be able to learn how to express your love differently. They said to do that, then you can learn how to engage in a different way instead of showing up the same way as before. Know how you did everything in the past is how you do everything now, and that's how you'll do your future. So if you've seen how past relationships always go, understand the things that are unresolved is how the future for you is, that's what your future is going to look like. Well, you don't want to repeat that. So what do you want to do next is you have to give yourself a chance. And once you give yourself a chance, that means you have to understand to stop abandoning thyself. It says that you understand what unrequited love is. That's your identity. That's what you know. Unrequited love is when there's not enough chemistry, or in a relationship, you love them more than they can love you. Okay? Or they want you to love them more than they can love you. And you just have to figure out how to define the way that you know what unrequited love is. How would you like to, you want to redefine it, but how do you want to heal it? Well, there's an awkwardness. This is what I know. And if you were to change it so that the love was equal, you're like, oh, that feels good. But at the same time, there's a part of you that has not resolved that past, in which then there's that fear of judgment, and then there's going to be a fanatical energy. So again, going back to L1D. When you find that you're self-sabotaging, you're going to do L2S. Now, when you really look that you have to give up on your expectations, you have to give up on your dreams, you have that unrequited love, then you hold L1S. Okay. Now, are you going in down the direction? Yes. Again, without doing any of this, you'll be doing the same pattern as before. But if you heal this, they said you'll have a new love for yourself, a new love to express with, and a new way to show up. That is what I see. Okay. Now let's look again if there's, find the right remote. All right, you keep me posted. Hey, yeah, let's look at all this. Oh, I think we're good there. I don't see any more page, but hopefully we'll keep our eye on that. And we're going to go into the free reads. And if you want a reading, understand we have taken them in order. And so if you're serious and it's going to stick around, you email me and with your question. Amy, what's the first?
Miss Patty.
Miss Patty. I love you too, James. And you're welcome. Miss Patty. Let's see. Right now, when it comes to, where is this? We want something quick. Okay. Miss Patty. As we begin to look at this future, they said the main thing to do with the future is notice that you have to end an era, end a particular behavior, end something that no longer serves. And they're saying that it has to do with criticism. You're going to take criticism, you're going to look at how you did it, how you receive it, how you used to look at it, and you can start noticing that did it get the end results that you wanted, but you have shifted to the point where it doesn't serve you anymore. You don't need to feel it, and you are ready to learn how to become more of feedback, more growing. And when anybody did criticism, you can feel this defense, or you feel this what do you call it? A pride issue. And they says, but it's a habit. You need to catch yourself. You need to catch when other people do it, because when they do it, they don't know they're doing it, and because they're so used to it, but you still respond in a particular way. Okay. And what happens is they want you to move past that. Okay. All right. Who's next?
Ken White, and he's wondering if he has his house on the market, and he's wondering if it will sell.
Okay.
And boom.
All right. So we're going to look at this. So he has a house on the market, and he wants to know if it'll sell soon. Now, let me see. Okay, so you have, there's something. Do you need to do something to improve the situation of the home? Do you need to set it up differently? They say you have to remain positive, and you need to change the energy so it shows a little bit more, when you set up a home, style a home, you get it ready. I can't remember the exact word and how they do it, but it needs to have that little bit of appearance, that little bit of romance, that little bit of that's going to pull people in. And if you've got nothing in a room, you may want to stage your house so that people can dream bigger. You might have to rent furniture, or you might have to rearrange your furniture, or get matching furniture. It will help to sell it faster. And they said, ask people to help you. You'd be amazed at how many people have hidden talents that would love to just, help. And they said, before I go, they said, look for signs, and then will you be able to sell your house? And the answer is, would that be, if you stage the house, would you? No. Why not? Why not? I'm curious now. Why not? Because there's a part of you that doesn't believe that it can. They said that you need to come into alignment with that. Some of these little things you need to do make a major difference. And when you want to sell your house. So if you do these little tweaks and you believe that hey, you're going to find the right couple, you're going to find the right thing. And then will you sell the house? Again, unlikely. Why? Now I've got to look. Yes, it will be longer in a minute because now I'm just curious. Because they said that do you have bitterness? They said you have to collect some energy in that house. There's some type of disappointment and anger, some type of fight that you had, some type of self-justifying why you have to get rid of it. And that energy needs to be cleared. All right, how would you do that? First of all, when people walk in that house, they're going to feel it. You need to go in, and this is for Ken, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you need to go in and you need to reclaim your energy. Now, you may have to sage the house. I know, but don't sage it and then 2 seconds later then show the house. But saging the house will clean the ionization and help clean up the stuff. Call back your energies if you have had any fights, because that energy alone. Now, if you go and you help stage the house, you clean up that energy, take out any of the stuff that's there, then will you sell the house? Ha! Yes. Yes, you will. But do those steps. They sound like they're important. All right, who's next? Pamela. Anything?
She said, I'm walking into a week that has the potential to change my life and want to know if you can share any messages as to how this will play out. I don't mind paying and tried, but PayPal app isn't working, and can I use 2 other forms? And I emailed her back and said no, because you're in Australia and you can only use
right. Right. We're looking differently into it. We'll see what happens. All right. So something's happening this week. Now, I'm going to say what's going on that we need to address. And they said that you have to let go of some memories because this is filtering through and kind of covering up how you focus on something. This is going to interfere with this thing that's coming up. And they said that there's a particular part of your energy that causes you to contract. Even if you're expanding, you think you are, you have an inferiority complex, or it is, I don't like those words, is that you're going to attract somebody in, even if it's a situation that you feel has more power over you. And that's why we worry half the time, people. It is that you have to see spirit on your side. You have to realize that, you know what, I have faith. Now, they said you also have, you have a behavior. What's going on with that? You have a behavior that attracts people to bully you. Really? So what did you do to yourself? They said that you felt that love was unreceived and you feel bashful. That energy, that's the memory. That's what it's about. So this particular memory is when you were 2 years old, and you could see that again at 18 and another one at 13. And what's the other one? 19. So you're jumping all over because what you did to yourself, toward yourself, was that you told yourself that you have to make yourself indecisive, that you can't trust, and that you go into muddled thinking. Because of all these things, these filters, that's actually going to make a choice. Now, I'm going to tell you to put your hand on your forehead and keep it there when you feel like this muddled and you feel like this is happening, because that's how you know how to shrink your energy. And if I said, if she were to just do the OMG, that's oh my God. If you were just to hold that, and that's all you do is this, and you keep it there, will you be able to have strength to do what you need in the coming week? And they said yes. Yes. The more you do this, do it as you go to bed at night. Do it when you start noticing the 41 thoughts are about that same story. Then they said that you will be able to have more things in your favor. Okay, who's next?
Sarah Bailey, and she is wondering if she would feel better if her thyroid med was upped.
Okay, when it comes to medical advice, you understand only your doctor can be the one to do this, I'm going to look at your thyroid. And they said the main thing that's interfering with all of that is that your heart meridian says that you're fighting yourself. And I'm like, why are you fighting yourself? Well, it's the action I have to take. And so I have to keep myself. And so they said, without knowing it, you have self-loathing. So when you wake up, is it present? You're fighting yourself. You're fighting. Interesting. You're just fighting yourself. Why do you fight yourself? Okay, so your energies are down. And when this meridian here is backwards, okay, it needs to come forward. When this is down, you will start having a little bit of paranoia. You start having a little bit more of a self-loathing. Put your finger in your belly button, in your forehead, push in and lift up. And you just hold that for a good 2 minutes, but breathe. Breathing is what makes the energy move. And then you're going to need to do the Celtic weave, and you're going to kick people out. We have a website, so you don't have to learn this right now. You can go to the website, pick it up. And you need to connect heaven and earth, because literally you are confused. Your brain is picking up different signals, which is throwing this off. When I look at this, he said, this is just habit. It's just habit. And they said it has to do with a particular shock. And all I can tell you is that you're told that I can't really expand myself or make myself important, because the pattern is very significant. And that's just, you can feel how other people are in charge or how other people want it. And you do that in that fashion. Oh, when they cut you off, they cut you off. Okay, well, who's next?
Susan, just guidance.
Okay. Now, when I'm looking at this future, and well, we're just going to throw how many cards at me? We get to choose, or am I taking them all? Choose. Oh. Okay. 1 through 5. What number would be best? We're going to take number 5, and that is you have to welcome the new, but you can't welcome in the new unless you learn to voluntarily let it go. And you're not doing that right now, and you don't know how to connect with heavenly signs, which means how to use synchronicity, how to communicate with the universe in such a way that you're able to heal the past. They said you literally are not going to be able to do that because you're focused on making what your issues are, as a career. Now, just understand, this is just habits. That's all that's referring to. And I said, okay, let's look at this a little bit more. And they said, well, that this is what's happening in the future. And I said, well, what's really controlling it? And they said, well, at age 13 was a big one. And it was to, what? I'm a good guy. Don't look at them. They are the enemy. So did you do that? No, somebody did that. Somebody kind of like threw you under the bus. So what did you do to yourself? You could felt that stability within yourself because you didn't quite understand it. And therefore it threw you off track. That's interesting. And it threw you off track. Well, becoming aware of this alone, will that change anything? Or should you add a healing tool with it? And they said, you're not healing from the past and you need to. Okay, so use a healing tool then? And they said, yes, because it's the memories that keep locking you in. So look at those ages that I recalled. And then the biggest one I'm going to tell you is EFT or the Oh My God tool. And you can go to medicinewomansolution.weebly.com, and then you'll be able to look under healing tools and OMG and emotional freedom technique. Okay. Next.
KK, and she's wondering if she'll ever be clean and sober again.
Will be what?
Will ever be clean and sober again.
Well, yes. You have to come to realizations and epiphanies. And without those, you're going to just keep repeating the past. What gets you caught off guard, why you have to go into having the addiction in the first place, is that's not the problem. That's the solution to the problem. And your particular problem is the action of stubborn people. They want you to change. They want you to do it a certain way. But then you're looking at it going, why can't you show up to me the way I want? Okay, so it is, yeah, so what age are we playing out? 1 year old. Look at me. You want to feel loved. What it boils down to, why there is anything, is that you could not cope with, handle the habitual fear that you had as a 1 year old. KK, you need to heal out your story, that you have to turn to this particular substance because you're feeling this fear. They said it's so stored in your heart. Now, you can learn just to take and say, here's my left hand, here's the first position. I'm going to place my thumb there, finger there, wrap my fingers around, push it in deep. And then all I have to do is this. When you do that, notice the number. Put it on the scale from 0 to 10. Notice how you feel like you have to turn to it. The problem is the feeling. The problem is that you don't know how to recover from that feeling. And that's what L1D is going to do, is I want you to focus on that. Put that on a nice intensity number, nice and 10, and then allow yourself to just keep your hand there. Keep your thumb hard on your wrist, and then it'll start to change. Next.
Anna Adams, she's been forgetting to ask, but actually never really thought to ask you at all. Sometimes it's something very important. Do you have any suggestions, tips on what I can do to get my period back regularly?
Okay. Because it's to do with energy. The periods are very much erratic because so obsessive thinking. You obsess? Okay. First of all, admit, do you obsess? If you're obsessive thinking, understand then the body goes into a stress mode. And when it goes into a stress mode, everything else has to get robbed. They said that when you did that, you became very depleted. And there's not enough energy to exert where you need to go. You feel attacked, which then your energy contracts. You feel bad because somebody actually made you feel bad and made you think that you're bad, and that ends up becoming your identity. And because of this vicious thing that keeps going around, that becomes your identity. What does it affect the most? Yep, because you have a sluggish memory. Is at 5.5, 6 years old, and they said it affects the periods. It affects the circadian rhythms, which is the circulation sex, the pericardium, and the circulation energy is, the sex organs. So you emotionally have repressed a particular feeling. And I said, well, if you were to start to unwind everything I just said and get that out, they said, well, you have to notice how you won't allow yourself to be something because it wasn't accepted. That's what you're suppressing. That's why you can't work with your creativity. That's why you can't be creative. And that energy is all about, I have to be something else because I can feel the sympathy in others. And you've convinced yourself that you have to. I highly suggest that you rethink that. Do you really need to? And if you still think yes, that means you need to start working on some emotions. The biggest one would just start doing EFT. That would take and hit most of it out of the park. And write down the sentence. What sentence? My periods are erratic. And if you were to look and say, why is my periods like this? It's because I don't feel stable. I just feel like everything's muddled. Or I can't think. Those are the statements you write down, and you tap it out. And when you start tapping out, you're going to literally begin to change. What are you going to change? The sentence will change. So you show that you stop believing it. All right. Who's next?
Lenny.
Lenny. Okay. Any question or?
Huge letting go shift yesterday.
Okay, so yeah, she's saying that she let go. She felt the shift yesterday. Yes?
Did I do a huge letting go shift yesterday?
Oh, did she do it? That's a different question. You know what she asked? All right. When you started to let go, they said that there happens to be more than one thinking and process that were going on. They says communicate clearly on certain things because there's more letting go. And they said that you may have to ask for help to be able to do so. And they said that when you'll notice when this happens, that everything starts to shift because you're still shifting, is that all of a sudden you'll start getting answers, especially if you're meditating, you're beginning to see more answers. Right now, you're still letting go. And so zero it in on particular things. They said sometimes you may have to ask others for help. And sometimes that is just about clearing your space. So you can have the time and the space to do something. Okay. Next.
Me?
You?
Me? I have no more.
All right. So if you want to, if you want a 1 minute read, or because people have been getting longer than that, I've noticed, because that's what Spirit's been doing, you got to let us know. Now, this is the part where I will double check to see if anybody's paid. And if you've paid, we still can do the readings. And if there's nobody that wants to do it, then you can say, may I have a 1 minute, please? Now, if you've already had it, please don't ask again. And we're going to go to Amy. Amy's future self. What is it, her future? And see, because we can already see a bunch of stuff, but Spirit says that get some rest. Get some rest, because the volunteering of your energy, you're spreading yourself out instead of expanding yourself. That's a big difference. They said that as you begin to expand yourself out in a spirituality aspect, you have to take all of you to expand. Right now, you're spreading what's there out. If I ask Spirit real quick, well, do you have to... Yeah, you need to reclaim yourself, because your broadcast message is to sabotage yourself. It has to do with self-abuse. You're still doing it, not as strong, but you're still doing it. You're still identifying with it. And they're saying that you really need to work more on L1D and L3D. L3D is that you have to feel small in order to be loved. Nope. I have to feel small because why? Because it's the right thing to do. Okay. We're talking about era of time. All grown-ups, beautician, so now you're thinking of, okay, so my mom owns a beauty shop. Little girl comes in, sits down, mom's around older people. My best friends are older people. Mm-hmm. You don't live in that era. You don't live like that. Your glasses, don't take offense, but your glasses are not really Amy. It is who you identify with from the past. Do you understand? Who do you think of when you think of identifying? You think of older people. When I asked, okay, is it because your soul is like that? No, it's because what'd you do to yourself? The only way that you can control yourself and be accepted was to disconnect from what? Yourself. And you start taking on the persona of other people. So you look outside yourself, you like bangs on other people, I'll try it on myself. Now there's the idea of being inspired. But if you don't really know yourself, then you're going to take on certain aspects that you're not ready for or don't suit you. Like, I love blonde hair, but it will not work with my complexion. I'd like to be very thin, but it doesn't work with my big bone frame. I have to come to the realization of knowing more of me. And when I know more of me, then like people tell me you should wear your no bangs. I'm sorry. I know me. I know that I feel alive and an alignment. And when my hair came through that it said look like this, it automatically fits when it, that it works. It just automatically fits. You're moving in and out of, well, this is what Amy was. This is what Amy is becoming. But wait a minute. Okay. So you're in the transitional state, and sometimes they're not the prettiest things for us to be in, but you're discovering more to be bold enough saying, what do I want? But you got to do it without the self-loathing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So last week you did some healing. How far did you get that on your own?
Probably 5.
Okay. So being patient with yourself is good. How do we want to do it? There we go. Got it. Now, as I'm looking, they said, okay, this is how I'm going to describe your energy. This is my body. I can feel myself in here. But with you, I can feel yourself outside yourself. So I'm going to ask, is there spirit in her body? Only an 8. Is emotion still kicking her out? What emotions are kicking you out? And it's somebody else that says, no, it's going, no, mine. Somehow I'm going to F it up. Do you know what hysterical feeling is?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Are you able to go there? I mean, because it's a big pain pocket.
No.
Okay. What are we willing to do? And they said L1D. And you're going to have to look at that uncomfortable bubble around it first. Okay? And they're saying you have to understand that the reason that they're having you do this on your own to some degree is because you've always relied on somebody else to give you that one connection. And so they became a drug. Do you know what I mean by it? They became a drug?
Yeah.
Okay. The problem with that is if you're constantly getting a drug, you're not going to address the problem. And so the problem in this case is the emotion. And it's like, I just would rather be indifferent to it. This is why I can feel you sitting outside of it. And I'm asking Spirit, where would you want to hold? And again, they're going back to L1D. And just notice there's a part of you that even though you want attention, it's like ever since you're little, pay attention to me. Look at my Amy. Look, that's what you're saying to me. That's what you're saying to certain people. But what you're doing is that you want to see praise. But you haven't saw that. One of the main things growing up that you saw was confusion, criticism, unreceived efforts. All the efforts you do is unreceived. Weakness, unworthy, rejection, failure. And what was the word this morning? That's how much her brain does not want her to know.
Disdain.
Have you looked it up?
Disdain.
Yeah, and have you looked up the definition? I sent it like 1,000 times to you.
Yes.
Even the face of disdain. You're really good at doing it to yourself. Because I'm like watching you look into the mirror and the mirror is giving you the face and you're like, oh, Me? You're doing it to me? Notice that you've done it to yourself because your little child part of you thinks that's how people receive you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, L1D on that. Okay. All right. Let's just make sure. Is there anybody else that wants a reading? And we're going to look and you just say reading, please. And please check the emails again. Make sure that if there's none in there. I'm going to check all the rooms. And I will do not put hexes or any of that bullshit on anybody. You need to heal out. Why? Let's address that. You're upset. Somebody took something of yours. How do you change it so that it can become in your favor? You have to heal the defense, because the defensiveness is what's preventing you from receiving. And that's why you have to receive heartache. And then for that person, they would have to notice that the suppressed feeling, some excessive invalidation, and they would get that when they were 3. Somebody would make sure they felt invalid. Okay, so Vicky. Now, what's interesting about this, Miss Vicky, is that as we begin to, I'm resisting touching my face, young lady. I don't know what that stands for, but they says that you're something about looking at the word courage. They're saying that sometimes the awkwardness prevents you from having a very specific courage, but you'll be walking along and all of a sudden somebody will have the lack of courage. And somehow your body resonates with that and causes you not to welcome in that new part. So this is a very old pattern. They're saying, look at when you were 2. And they said the biggest one, a big one, when you were, well, wouldn't that be considered 20? No, do it again. Almost 20. It's like 19 and a half. What you did toward yourself was that you had to avoid. Feel so and avoid. And so you have healing backwards to where you're like, oh my God. And so you're at that particular age. Amber. Okay, so Amber. You have, okay, what's funny is the adult child has come up in reverse. So the thing is that if we were to look at that, so you have adult people around you that are acting childish because they're like, I'm the good guy. Oh, look, they're the enemy. Don't look at them. Don't look at them. They're the enemy. So you're being persuaded by this particular energy. And they said, not, you're stronger than you know. Really, you are. And it's not that you have to let it go. It is learn the pattern, saying, I don't have to play in that, and literally change the direction that you're in, because your spirituality is going to make you strong again.
I have 2 more emails.
Okay, let's see what you have. I have to look at, Vicky says something about, not sure what that courage thing is, but the face is not liking to have my face touched. Ooh, because of the face smacks. Interesting. Can you identify with that age, though? You have to not be the age you are now. You can't think of it there. You literally have to go back to when you're younger. And the thing is they said that it's about your spirituality. If you're ready to take that next big leap, you're going to be able to see it as a kid. All right, what do you have?
Daddy wanted you to check on Jeff. And see how he's doing. I know he's been hanging around here, but I don't want to hold him back from moving on if he's ready to.
So, no, that's fine. It is now. It's just that toward yourself, you've taken the blame or did something, and you feel that it says efforts unreceived. Something about efforts unreceived. Toward yourself, you feel like the efforts are unreceived. He says, hanging on to understand that you have to learn to look at all the effort you are doing is received. Look how well your children responded to you while you're live on air. I've seen where some kids just push that limit, and you got to a 1. You didn't have to count higher. You have to start training yourself to see, because what's interesting is that because he's like, I'm good. And if I ask, has this, no, it's his issue. So it is about being petrified. He's holding into the energy of being petrified. And you're talking about this person that is gone, right? Because this has to do with the deep stored pain and the identity. I would say, light a candle. Call in somebody that is loved to guide the other person home. And as far as healing the pain, to help him, you could sit there and hold panic. You could hold L1D and heal out the panic. That will actually help release. Okay, who else?
Lillian, I would love a healing for my injury I had a few weeks ago. I feel better now, but still my sciatica is giving me a lot of pain.
Well, you're not being true to yourself, because I asked about the sciatica and they said something about you're not being true to yourself. Let's see if I can pull something up real quick that will actually begin to help you understand. So hopefully I can find it real quick. Well, our bodies have messages all the time. And whether we listen to them or understand them is another. And very, very important to be more true to yourself. But if you can't, the biggest question is why. Okay? The biggest question is why. And it's taken us a little lovely time. Come on now. Okay. Sciatica. I got to figure out how to spell it correctly. Nerve pains in the hips and thighs are due to prolonged disc or pinched nerve in the lower hip bone. That is what this particular thing says. I don't want to know. Or naive. Okay, so if I ask what's going on in that body, as I'm going out to the second part of your aura, they said it is about the action steps. And I'm like, please tell me more about the action step. And they said, Mother, please, I'd rather do it myself. Okay, that's what I'm getting. Is it creative anxiety? Is it hypocritical? No, Mother, please, I'd rather do it myself. There's very intense self-determination, and they are an island unto oneself who is super self-sufficient. They have greatly concerned and agitated about money, security, and safety issues. That's what I feel in there. Underneath all their ferocious independence is an innocent infant longing for care and commitment. As a result, they do a first roar of disapproval. Roar. It's a pattern whereby they intensely reject suggestions and then come around later. This got started in early childhood. And in this case, his reactions, child, please, I'd rather do it myself. Maybe you're trying to be helpful. If that resonates with you, then I would tell you to do L1S. As you do L1S, know that towards yourself, you have to become unstable if you don't, meet the criteria of your self-determination. So you're going to focus on that. Get that down to 0. Hopefully that has helped you in some form. Who's next?
That is all I have.
Yeah, so Lillian says the sciatic was part of my injury. Never had issue before. I have always been independent. So I think she's understands what she's got to heal. Well, remember, you can always make an appointment with me, honey. If you can't get it gone, get it down to 0. Okay. The other part of the energy field I would have you do is to understand when you start to release and hold that, breathe energy into that area. And then focus on the sciatic. Focus on the sciatica. Focus after you heal the other part out. And as you focus on the sciatica, you will notice that the nerve and all that area will just start to release. Okay? There you go. Usually I will interpret dreams. I usually have people send me information ahead of time so that I don't have to waste anybody's time as I'm doing it. I usually just charge, for a 15-minute session, but that's $30. But some people need to hear it. Now, if it's a quick one, if you've got if you have like one line, very specific, then yes. And that we can even look that up right now. Because dreams are very important. Dreams help you out in a very major way. We have Donna Brandt. Ames, are you okay?
No, I'm just looking.
Donna, you're supposed to be looking at something to do with religion or spirituality. And as you start to do so, they said, notice that your physical body is changing, and so it's somehow there's a belief system in there that's related to it. A sluggish memory about age 3, and the resonating broadcast from somebody else. No, it's toward yourself with muddled instability. So if you had religion in the past, or you grew up with that, you're a sinner, or any of this, understand sin is you miss the mark. Miss the mark of love is love. So anything love equals fear, love equals pain, that is still missing the mark. It's not the same as what we were taught. And what happened is that you felt severed love to some degree, and it hurt. It hurt. And so there's a part of you that has blamed yourself on this. And your body kind of goes into an interesting, because I don't want to say it's full-blown panic. I just feel like, if that makes any sense. And there's a lot of people run around trying to do self-justification of why you should be thinking and feeling in their way instead of yours. That's interesting. Oh,
Chloe.
So LB
Chloe.
sent, huh?
Yeah, I have LB's, or I have an email, but there's a Chloe
Okay.
up on the phone.
Oh, gotcha. Chloe. Let's see. Your future self says it wants to talk about retirements. It's about what is it you need to retire? And they said it has to do with a particular memory. If I asked how many memories, they said just one. And I said, what age is this memory? And they said, well, something about 40 years old, whether it's yours or somebody else, but there's a particular memory. It's about what you created a self-imposed limitation. Who did? How old are you? I don't mean to ask, but the reason I'm asking is because I see 5 people here and they're not, I don't really want to place your rates. So if we were to look at this real quick, It's about something. I have to be something I can't be. I have to be something, but I have to do it out of sympathy. So that's interesting because they're saying, look at a particular story, how it's connected to a particular memory, and you need to retire that memory. You can do it easily by doing EFT, a couple of rounds of that. Write down the memory, feel the intensity of scale from 0 to 10, and then heal that out. All right, what do we got now?
Okay, I have Fran Kraft.
Okay.
As a child, I was told that I was worthless and unlikable. My head knows that this is a lie, but lately I've been falling into this trap. Why can't I let it go? I will be 72 in 3 months.
Well, because it's a heartache, but keep going.
And I think this is what's giving me the arthritis in my arthritic pain in my neck. And my vision has been going downhill fast.
All right. First of all, if you got pain in the neck, again, anything physical, go talk to your doctor. But you may need some glucosamine because if you have joint issues, you may want to get some joint formula. It's amazing how it can take care of the pain and start to reduce that because it's somehow, I was having pain upon pain. Now I don't get it at all not because I'm just moving energy, but because I had to add the joint. I actually got the joint formula, and that seemed to be help. The other part of it is that when I asked Spirit, how does it affect you when you have been told that you're worthless, regardless of what age you are? And they said, well, it's a good thing you asked because it affects the blood vessels, then it affects the immune system, and then it affects the lymphatic system. Then it goes into the connective tissues. When I ask, okay, does this have anything to do with the arthritis? Yes, it does. When I'm saying, is this a trapped emotion? They go, it's more than a trapped emotion. You believed it so much. It's that feeling that when you become very self-conscious of it. Now, as you got older, it has to do with knowing that, how do you know what insecure feels like? And I feel like people have put you in that position that you have to be insecure, that you have to, now again, don't think about it at the age you are. If you've known it and you can still feel it and you still see the pictures and you still feel it inside, your body says, great, let it go. And they said that you can hold L1D. Okay, pushing the thumb in hard and holding your head up because you have a heartache. It broke your heart. You can get that out. And they says, but it's been such a habit and it's breaking that habit. You have to catch when you're doing it and then go heal that pain out and then catch with you. Sometimes just the habit is that it's called a self-sabotage and it's so then it becomes more than that. And they said that this is stuff that we have repressed that has to still come to the surface. There's a lot of things you can do about that. Okay, Ames.
Okay, it's LB. Hello, Brenda. I had a dream I was on a train and I got off and left my children on the train. And then I spent the rest of the time trying to get back on the train to find my children.
Okay, whoops. Gotta get in the right computer. All right, so when you're doing anything, understand that everything represents an aspect of you and particular story. So you're looking at the, how do you want to do it? Metaphysically, what does all this mean? But it had to get your attention in such a way. Oh, come on, seriously. TR. We're going to look at the word train. Train is the thing that stands out the most. And what does a train represent? And I can tell you the top of my head, but they said there's a specific word. When they give you very much of that feeling, the train is about conformity. You're just going along with what everyone else is doing. So if you had to do what everybody does, and you have to do it continuously because that's what the rhythm of the energy is, and you left your children. Now, how many children do you have, sweetheart, so that I know how many you left on the train, or tell me how many you left on the train, because so what do you have to conform to? So you have to do what everybody else does. And do you have to leave your kids behind so you have to work? Do you have to do the same thing? Do you feel guilty about it? There's all these different areas. Now, a dream can mean many things at once. It doesn't have to mean one thing. Now, as I'm looking for the word, a child, a person, they represent you. So do you feel like the feelings of burden of adulthood? Are you trying to escape from the daily responsibilities and looking for someone else to shield? You have three. Three is that Trinity part of yourself. And if you had to learn how to leave certain parts of you behind, you had to conform. There you go. There it is. So you've had to conform. So you had to conform and you had to become an adult. You had to do things the same way. What did you have to leave behind? And it is really, that's interesting. Do you think that'd be a good thing? You've had to leave your pride behind, and that is a habit. That's what other people do. Why? Because you're a woman? No, it's because that's what I had to do towards myself, because that's what I saw growing up, was that I had to reject something out of my reality. And this is the justice that's served. Really? Yeah, hopefully you know what that means. I'm going to ask each of the children, the first child represented what? The monotonous. The second child, monotonous. Okay, so the children represent the monotonous that you have in your life. And that you have to conform, and you have to do that. And that there is this energy of a hierarchy, and you have to constantly feel that. And they said that you're breaking free from that judgment cycle that says you have to do that. Yes, that may be part of your life, but you don't have to feel like you have to lose power doing it, because I can see you dreaming big. It's just like when you asked me how, is there any way that I would ever teach hope therapy so that I could help people to get beyond, help them resolve the abuse that they go through. And Spirit has really been heavily thinking about doing an introductory course, just that, based on muscle testing with yourself first, and then to be able to slowly work with others, doing it in a way that you can just rely on breaking free. You left 2 on the train. So that means one part of you is learning to integrate. The other 2, you just have to work on. Yes, you're dreaming big. Good. You don't have to conform that way. Now, again, you have to have a job, but you can also transform that. And that's what I feel you're doing. Very good. Okay. We're just going to double check to see if anybody else paid. And if not, we're going to double check in the room. Is anybody else here wanting reading? And they asked real quick. Okay, I got no more in that end. Check this room. Check that room. Thank you. Oh, wow. That's amazing, Brenda, to get into the... Yes. They are trying to conform. We're not going to use that word. They're trying to take everything that they've taught me, and they're breaking it in groups. And one of the things is that if a person can begin to do that small thing on the small scale for themselves, to get to know that familiarity for themselves, then they can take and they start using it on other people. Now, you'll just probably get that small introduction. And then if you start taking the rest of the classes, you'll get further into developing an ability. All right. That looks good. You guys have been a wonderful audience, as always. And I will be here tomorrow night for me at 9 p.m. So if you happen to be up early in certain parts of the U.S., more than welcome to join me. We like that. Jennifer Allison, are you still there? Again, anybody wants a quick little card or two before I go, then that's fine. You're welcome. And it was good to meet you, and I'm glad. I have a feeling that we're going to end up communicating more in the future, LB. I really do. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah. I feel like my birdie. You know, they remind me of feathers. That's what I kept seeing was feathers. And I go, feathers? And my bird's all white, by the way. But I have all these other colored birds, and I felt like I needed to embrace more of my past lives, more of my true nature, who I am. So we will. Jennifer, they said your future self, you have an end of an error. You've got to stop doing what? Stopped. What do you want them to do with that? You want to stop seeing them? No. Stop and interpret. Oh, so you've had heavenly signs, and somehow in the past you interpreted them as like, oh, that's an omen, or ooh, that's not. They said there's letting go of other people's fears and learning how to do it differently. Because they said that you have to forgive yourself and forgive them. That's how, you know, they grew up in that particular area of how you're supposed to look at it. It's a whole different meaning now. And with a whole new different meaning, you're able to have a different form of relationship dynamics that is with, you know, that is with yourself and with relationship to spirit. That is awesome. Very good. You guys are awesome. Okay. Again.
Look on your,
Huh?
look on your phone. There's a couple of them.
Aha. Here we go. Is it Eliza? Eliza? Yes. Okay. You're next, sweetheart. And I'm looking at the future self. Now, what happens when I look at the future self? I'm trying to just pick out something in particular so that you understand that it's not, ooh, this is written in stone. It is about helping you evolve. And in this particular thing, they said in the future self, there's something to do with parental care. It's about how, whether does this have to do with yourself? How do you have to show up in doing parental care? Okay. And what does that mean? They said that there's a new career in understanding how to help people. Why? Because you're welcoming the new energies, and there's a part of you that feels that maybe you can help with your energy. I think I could actually see that you could help. And that parental care, however it's supposed to be, it hasn't quite developed. Is there anything going to impede upon the past that stops you from doing that? Actually, it looks like you're going to have to leave different things, parts of you behind. Like, well, if I want to do this area, then I need to be okay with saying I need to close a few things, get some energy so I can go over and do this, because you don't want to spread yourself too thin. And then they said sometimes you may have to have some family changes so that you can improve your finances. Okay, is that it now?
I believe so, because she was the only one that answered my question over there.
Excellent, excellent. You guys are great. And then Thursday, remember, Thursday is all about healing day, energy work. We're going to do that. And that one's a couple hours, or that one would be half hour ago that it would start. You guys are wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for the...
Tonight at 9 your time.
Mm-hmm. So tomorrow night for me is 9 my time, which is till like 5, 6, 7 in the morning for you guys, if you come from the U.S. area. Amy, it's what, 4:30 in the morning? Other areas is different. But it's much early in the morning, like 11 or something, when you talk about Paris and any of those places. It's all good. It's All good. Now let's see. I have to figure out what is the pattern of getting out of this. Because I have so many buttons to push. Like I say, resolve to evolve. Heal.
You can heal.
You can heal it. Heal instead of deal. And like I always say, and I think it's so important for you to always remember, is to stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
Hallelujah. Thank you very much for being here. And you, thank you for being here as well. Stay blessed.